All right, everybody, ding, ding, ding. We are back at it again. This is what I'm talking about, Ringside Corner Confessions. I am Trey Amazing, your favorite part-time stripper, part-time megachurch pastor, but I am a full-time dating commentator. I am the dating commentator of Atlanta, and I am here with Miss Kayla. She is representing Black Speed Dating of none other than Atlanta. Black Speed Dating Atlanta. Welcome to the ring, Kayla.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So, you are doing Black Speed Dating, but we are here to talk specifically about the do's and don'ts of not only Black Speed Dating, or just not only the speed dating do's and don'ts, but post-pandemic speed dating. Because again, speed dating has been around for a very long time, very popular here. A lot of people have participated, but we are living in a different day and time, different space. We are post-pandemic. People are still wearing masks. There's still hand sanitizer stations everywhere you go, and which is a good thing. And things are a bit different. We're trying to normalize things again, but COVID is still out there. People are still catching COVID. But again, when you talk about speed dating, we're talking about being in close proximity with a lot of people in a very short amount of time. So, well, first and foremost, before we jump into the do's and don'ts of post-pandemic speed dating, what inspired you to make this about Black speed dating? There's a lot of speed dating out there, but you wanted yours specifically about Black people. Why is that?
Yeah, so first, of course, thank you for having me on to chat about Black ATL Speed Dating. It's a brand, a pet project, as I refer to it, that I'm extremely proud of. This was born out of a desire to create an in-person dating experience for young Black professionals in Atlanta. That was my thesis, that was my mission statement. I wanted us to just have an opportunity to meet really dope people completely off the apps that were also looking for something more than a hookup or what we call a pen pal, and that's somebody who want to message you back and forth on a dating app for 7 weeks and nothing comes of it. So how can we avoid the pen pals? How can we avoid these other scenarios and have something that is, like a pre-pandemic vibe of just meeting people in person? And so that is how Black ATL Speed Dating was birthed.
Very good. Okay. And so, I'm digging the concept. I know I came across you on Instagram and I was like, yo, I think this could be something.
Yep.
I'm digging this. And so, speed dating, like I said before, it's been around, but when you talk about speed dating in still a climate where COVID is still out there, COVID hasn't gone anywhere. You have people, many people are vaccinated, many people have gotten the booster, some people are wearing masks, some people aren't. But when you talk about going to a speed dating event, a person, anybody who participates are gonna interact with, 10, 15 or so people all in a very short amount of time during this new phase of life we're in. So we want to talk about the do's and don'ts. For people out there who've never done speed dating, there are a lot of people out there, a lot of singles, recent singles who are interested in speed dating, for the do's and don'ts of how to speed date in a post-pandemic era like the one we're in now. As someone who's doing this, what are, in your opinion, in your expertise, what are some do's and don'ts you can impart on people watching right now, as far as if you're about to do speed dating, if you're about to, put your foot out there, these are the things you want to do, and these are the things you may want to avoid.
Definitely. So I've thought of the do's and don'ts of speed dating post-COVID in kind of two different ways. One is like the physical aspect of just being in a more health-conscious society, and then more largely my responses are going to focus on kind of the psychological ramifications of being post-COVID and how our mindsets have shifted towards dating, in-person activities, and things of that nature. So definitely from the physical side, from somebody who's never been speed dating before, what it kind of looks like, we rent out a restaurant for my event and we will have tables around the room. Each table will sit 2 people. We have the women seated at the tables, and then the men will be seated with them for each round. After the round is over, you mark on your interest form how it went, and then the men will rotate to the next table until every man or every male participant has seen every female participant. So that is kind of what that looks like. So it is going to be a little bit close quarters. It's going to be your typical dining table that you would find at a small restaurant. And so one of the do's is definitely make sure that you have used common sense. And if you don't feel good, don't come. I know people might be worried to leave money on the table, like I'll pay my ticket, I've been looking forward to this. I will issue you a refund. I do not want to have a super spreader. So definitely do use common sense. If you don't feel good, let us know. It's ideal to have the same number of both participants, but it's even more important that people don't get each other sick. So that is just something to always keep in mind.
That's a big one.
You got to take care of the person sitting next to you, you know?
Right. No, that's a big one because, again, you are going to interact with several people, in a very short amount of time. And, again, the day of, no matter how much money you paid and you spent, you hear it here, folks, she's going to issue a refund. But if you've been coughing, if you have a wet cough and you've been sneezing and all that, itchy throat and all that stuff, just keep your ass home.
Exactly.
Just stay home. Because again, we don't need you going through and just infecting people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not that deep.
Okay. No, that's a big one. Very important. Mm-hmm. Okay. What you got next?
So one of my other kind of do's of speed dating is, I would say, be open-minded. When you're in that room, I've had people ask, well, can we see the participants ahead of time? Can I know who's coming? Can you send out bios? No, that kind of defeats the purpose. Speed dating is meant to be a little spontaneous, a little bit impromptu. Mm-hmm. You get who you get that's in that room. Now with Black ATL Speed Dating, I do my best to vet each participant a little bit, but I'm not the FBI. So that said, we're gonna try and always have a cool, curated vibe and dope people in the room, but be open-minded, right? Every person you meet is not going to be a potential soulmate for you. This is not a matchmaking service. That would be much more expensive. But I guarantee that you can have, 1 to 3 really solid conversations with the folks in that room. And what I tell my participants is, you don't have to think, who am I trying to put a ring on? But you should be thinking, who would I like to learn more about at a second date after this is over? So my first do on the psychological side is come open-minded, come ready to have a good time.
Okay. No, I dig that. I think, for dating, a lot of people some people may be adverse to any kind of risk taking. And so they may want to know ahead of time, okay, what am I getting myself into? That's why I was like, for the people who may be brand new to speed dating, but brand new also in a post-pandemic era, but you're still going to have those people that want to know as much information as possible ahead of time, even before they arrive at the restaurant. Mm-hmm. And that's not how it works. Right. And like you said, I'm glad you clarified, look, this is not matchmaking.
Yes.
Nowhere can we guarantee you're going to find your soulmate.
Right.
Only thing we can do is set you up for the possibility of having some great conversations, interacting with possibly some people you may or may not vibe with. Mm-hmm. So, all right, what you got next?
Definitely. So one of my don'ts for speed dating is don't come on too strong. And I feel like that can be a little bit intimidating for some people. They might not understand how to just approach a casual conversation, especially so I'm gonna do like a tangential thing. So with my event, we do include one complimentary, adult beverage with your ticket, whether that's a beer or a cocktail that we'll provide at the location. I've had a lot of participants ask me, well, can we get other drinks? Is the bar gonna be open? And no, I don't want it to be a drinking event, right? Like, I want you to be soberly making this connection with this person. I want it to come from that more genuine, cautious place. And so I say don't come on too strong. I think that online dating has convinced people that you have to have this like really big persona. You got to have the greatest pickup line and the hottest pics and all this stuff to like win your keep. But with speed dating, you don't have to come on too strong. What you need to do is just be you, and the connections you make are the connections you make. But the in-person, like the impressions that you make on speed dating have to carry through. So don't waste your energy being somebody else. Just be you. Okay. All
right. Feel that.
Yeah.
All right. What you got next?
So another do for speed dating, and this is a little bit for post speed dating, so hopefully that's okay that I'm including that. Okay. But one of my do's for speed dating, post speed dating, is set expectations with your date. So you have to understand that this is a brand new person to you, and people approach dating in completely different ways, right? And so set expectations, your working hours, your communication style, your date preferences. Let people know these things about you. I'm sure that anybody who uses Twitter has seen the conversation topic, well, you shouldn't have to tell nobody how to treat you. And I think that's ridiculous. It's like nobody is a mind reader, right?
Yeah,
and
teach
so
people how to treat you.
you have to teach them. Now, if you teach them and they don't listen, that's on them, right? But when you first get the contact information for people, you don't have to go from the beginning like, boom, I work 9 to 5. Don't text me at 8. Don't text me at 6. But, you know, talk to your people, set the expectations, set the bar. I think in a post-pandemic world, people are used to having a lot of access to folks because you knew everybody was at home. That's not the case anymore, you know? And so some people, you can't just tell them Friday night, let's get brunch Saturday. They probably already got plans. And so, you know, thinking about a post-pandemic world, people are getting back to more structured schedules. People are getting back to going outside as a mix of staying home, however much they do. So just be transparent with people about what you want and then go from there.
Okay. You know, I honestly, like, if I had a buddy who was about to go on speed dating and just think about everything you're saying, the biggest thing I would tell him, like, look, just don't be weird. I know that sounds
I should have started with that.
I mean, that would be the first thing I would say to anybody. You know, man runs and look, just don't go there and just don't be weird.
Exactly.
You know, be yourself. You know, try to carry on a normal conversation, but just don't be weird about it.
Exactly. And one of the cool things about how I run my event is that, so I host each speed dating. I don't participate myself, but I host it. So I set the timer for each round, and I also will announce a conversation starter for the room to use. It's an optional conversation starter, but it gives you something to talk about, so you don't have to sit down 10 times and say what you do for work, how many siblings you have, where you grew up. Like, let's just get to the fun stuff. And so hopefully that would help people to not be weird. I got a lot of feedback that people enjoyed the conversation starter, so that'll be here to stay.
Okay. So what's next?
So next on my list is do not try to match with everybody. That is so crucial. That is another thing that I think COVID/dating apps have just told people: cast a wide net, swipe right on everybody, and then you get what you get. But then you could end up in a situation where I had a participant who received 7 matches, and I asked him, I'm like, so now what? Are you gonna go on 7 second dates? I don't think that's realistic, you know, and I don't think that is something, I don't think you really felt the same way about each person, right? Now, granted, the way speed dating works, you'll indicate your matches on the form. The opposite gender, they will indicate their matches on the form, and then my team takes the forms, and where both people match together, that's where we send out the contact info. And so it is intimidating, you know, you don't want to walk out of the night and be like, well, I didn't like nobody, so you try to find that balance, but do not try to match with everybody. It is not an app. Now that you've gone speed dating, there's a little bit of an expectation that something will come of it, right? So again, these participants are not expecting to have a ring ready in 2 weeks, but they are.
You know, it's got to be a couple of like,
right.
Like, what are we? What do we do?
Literally, but at the same time, like nobody wants to get ghosted after y'all, because you'll both know that you matched with each other. So you have to use a little bit of that consciousness, and maybe that is. You know, something that I can better express to my participants before they come. Like, don't overdo it. Don't try to like win over the whole room. Have a little bit of a focused approach.
Okay. I mean, right when you said that, I'm thinking, you know, for some people, it could be a strategy. Like, you know, let me, you know, just like everybody. Let me put a yes for everybody. Cast my net out wide, and if I say yes to everybody, there's going to be a match somewhere in there. Because some people, you know, for them, it really is a numbers game.
Right.
But I can definitely, you know, right when you said that, I'm like, yeah, that could prove disastrous.
Exactly.
I mean, me personally as a man, I'm not going to agree to 7 different. I don't want to take out 7. That's a lot of money. I'm going to try to. No.
Right.
I'm not doing that. That's a lot of numbers to call and pretend. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
It's a lot of numbers to save.
Yeah.
So honestly, yeah, I think that trying to keep it to the core group of people you really felt a connection with definitely makes sense. And I think that, so I moved to Atlanta during the pandemic. A lot of my friends have moved here during the pandemic, and a lot of the participants have moved here during the pandemic. We are some Atlanta natives, of course, but it's a very attractive event to transplants who might not have a broad Atlanta network. And so I think that in a post-pandemic world, and especially so my target age for the event, which we didn't discuss, is 25 to 35 years old. And so for participants in that age range, a lot of them are ready for something, especially, you have folks in the room that have spent basically the better part of 3 years potentially living by themselves, potentially out of a relationship. Maybe they entered the pandemic in a long-term relationship that they're no longer in. And so, things really happen in people's lives, but I feel like post-COVID, there is less human connection maybe than we even had before the pandemic, right? Like that was a shock to everyone's system to live in isolation and to operate that way. So I think that when you're speed dating, just keeping in mind, like these are real people. These are not just like profiles on an app. These are not just bots on Twitter. Like these are people with emotions and dating expectations, and they should be treated with respect, just like you would want to. Be treated.
Yeah, you're right, because with 2 years of, with the pandemic going on, people being stuck in their homes or apartments or wherever, losing a good amount of human connection with people. And let's be honest, you have to substitute that with what you can find on the internet, what you can find on Facebook and, like I said, Twitter and IG, and which is, that's fine, everything is safe, but it doesn't replace the human connection. You're supposed to connect with people.
Right.
And, post-pandemic, I can see how a lot of people, they may stir some emotions like, well, how do I do it? I haven't done this in a long time. I haven't had to interact with a human being in a long time. And it's like, okay, speed dating can already be nerve-wracking. Now, I haven't had human contact. Now I'm about to have how many human contacts?
Right.
So for some people, you may want to have some anxiety medication on hand, because I can understand some people
that's why we have the one cocktail. That's a little bit to ease your nerve.
I'm like, you may want to need this right now. Just have a sip.
Yeah,
you haven't talked to anybody all this time. Now you got to talk to several people in a short amount of time.
Exactly.
Time interaction.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
So
anything else? Any other do's and don'ts?
Yeah, I got some rapid fire ones, of course. Like, do respect all the rules of speed dating. And so one of the rules of speed dating, at least at Black ATL Speed Dating events, is you don't exchange contact information there. Ooh. I don't want any participants to feel pressured to give things up just because somebody asks, because we all know it's hard to ask somebody for their number, and so we want to respect that. But please don't reach out to people directly at the event, because you want to just respect that they agree to the rules and their privacy. Another don't, which I feel like they might outnumber the do's, don't cyber stalk your participants. That is not okay.
That's why we don't give out last names.
We really don't. And I think that, again, it's about the spontaneity of attending the event. It's about being impromptu. It's about new people. And so don't go all, as soon as you get somebody's phone number, you done look them up on this and you done look them up on that, and doing all. Have the first date first. Don't just put yourself in a position to be disappointed or be hurt when you try to send them an email and they went to the junk, because they don't know you.
You got a lot of investigators out there. You got a lot of people who find. It's been a long time. I think when I did in 2005, you couldn't find out last names. They took care of all that. They send you an email that hey, you matched with this many people. And because you're right, I'm like, people will find you. They want to know people are afraid, so they want to do research, but again, it defeats the purpose.
Exactly.
At that point, I kind of look at it like you're kind of cheating yourself.
Yeah.
You're cheating the process.
Yeah.
But you said, as far as transplants, this could be exceptionally beneficial, for people, especially we're talking about Atlanta.
Right.
Atlanta, like you mentioned before, very nuanced when it comes to dating and Black dating. And trust me, I've known about this for a very long time. Atlanta is a different monster altogether.
Yes.
But, when you talk about people, particularly people in that age range, 25 to 35, who may have certain expectations or certain concerns, something like a black speed dating can help, I guess, assuage certain anxieties regarding dating. Because again, it's a controlled environment, it's timed, and I know you're not vetting everybody, but on the back end, there's still some consideration that you are doing as an organizer.
Right.
But since we're talking about post-pandemic, would there be things like, if someone wants to come participate, can they say, hey, will there be hand sanitizer at every station?
Mm-hmm.
Would people have the option to wear masks or whatnot, or things like that? Because you have a lot of daters out there who may be interested, they want to date, they want to participate, but they may be a germaphobe.
Right.
Or, hey, I want to date, but just, we ain't got, we can fist bump or we can elbow, but don't touch me or
Exactly.
stuff like that. Would there ever be anything like when you're talking to people and signing them up, how would you interact with someone who wanted to be a participant but said that they're not vaccinated or they don't believe in the vaccine?
Right. So I would not choose to let someone participate or not based on their vaccination status. That is not something that I plan to verify for people. I think that just goes a little bit beyond the scope of what I can manage realistically. For those who may not know, Black ATL Speed Dating is not my day job, right? And so this is a passion project, something I'm doing nights and weekends. And again, it's a personal choice. So if someone was concerned about the safety sanitation of the event, we do have tons of hand sanitizer there, as well as, of course, a bathroom where you can feel free to wash your hands.
Wash your hands, people.
Please wash your hands, just wash them. It's in a well-ventilated space, so if there was a deep concern, especially this time of year, this is windows open season in Atlanta. So while people were filtering in, we had our door open to the restaurant to increase circulation, as well as windows open. And then one thing I learned to implement is a break in the middle so you can also step outside and get fresh air. If there was a participant that wanted to wear a mask, they are more than welcome to do so. If they would like, I'm happy to send out a photo of their full face to all their matches after and be like, this was what the second half of their face looked like.
Ooh.
Right, like, okay, I see them teeth, they had braces, but yes.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a big thing. Like, if you wear them, like, no, I got to see what the teeth look like.
Exactly. I want to know before we get to the date.
I want to know, like, how white or off-white or gold.
What shade are we talking about?
Right.
Is it eggshell?
I need to know, where are you on the color spectrum?
Right.
No, I mean, I can see, that's what made me think about, like, during this time with COVID, because again, people are still catching COVID, people are still dying from COVID.
Right.
So it has altered how we do a lot of things, including how we date. And, with something like speed dating being in such close proximity with so many different people, and again, you don't know people's statuses, you don't know how they feel about vaccines or whatever, because at the end of the day, this is supposed to be political.
Right.
We want to have a good time. However, we want to be safe. We want to look out for people. Because again, I think it was perfect that you started this by saying, look, if you're not feeling well, keep your ass at home.
That's the thing, because you could be vaccinated and sick, and I don't want you there.
Right. You, like I said, I mean, even if you think it's just a little cold or a little whatever the case may be, you are not hurting anybody's feelings. You want your money back. Just notify people.
Exactly.
So I think that was very, very important. So I mean, you just gave some great do's and don'ts.
Thanks.
You're gonna have, of course, you're gonna have those people who are brand new to this, who are gonna have questions and concerns. What are some of the most bizarre, outlandish questions anybody has ever asked before doing something like this?
Definitely. So I have just, so our next Black ATL Speed Dating event will be Friday, November 4th. And so that will be...
Where's it going to be?
So it'll be in Midtown Atlanta. The location is only revealed to ticket holders because we don't just need random people showing up.
Well, I heard y'all had speed dating here.
Right, like I'm trying to get inside.
Right.
But if you are interested in attending, of course, follow us on Instagram, Black ATL Speed Dating, and we are happy to get you a ticket to come. But yeah, so I lost track a little bit of the question.
Like, what were some of the most bizarre, like people who are green or
Yeah.
versions to speed dating. Like, you know, I want to get back out there. I want to date and I want to try something different. They've done the dating apps, but hey, I came across your IG, Black Speed Dating.
Right.
You know, people are going to have questions. Some questions are expected. Others are like, what the hell were you thinking?
Yes.
Or we ain't doing all that.
So I will say the vast majority of my participants, all my participants from my first event, very intelligent people that I was happy to have attend. Some of the people that don't come have the questions that I can't answer. And I'm like, why are you putting me through the third degree when I know you're not even going to buy a ticket? Of course, I've had people of other races ask if they can participate. You know, I love everybody. I love all God's children. But this event is for Black people. This event I wanted to put on for people that look like me. I have had people of different sexualities ask if they could attend. And I'm very open to doing an LGBTQ event in the future. But with speed dating, it's important that people's sexualities align, right? Like, if you have, let's say, a woman there and she only dates women, then I have to kind of add her to the men count of the event, but then I have to have other women that date women, and you see it throws the whole thing off. So that's not like a crazy question, but that was one that when I got the message, I'm like, I don't want to get canceled. How can I answer this in like a very thoughtful way?
Again, you answer it slowly and think before you speak.
Exactly, because again, I would love to put on that kind of event, but it has to be just for them. They can't be an afterthought, right? I have had people ask if they could leave the event if they match with somebody they like. No, you cannot steal my participant. Like,
I'm like, can we just leave right now?
Right, they said, oh, this is my third date and I want to marry this person. Can we go? Like, no, thank you for asking, but you actually cannot do that. I have had people ask if they could be late. Absolutely not. Absolutely
like,
not colored people.
This is not CP time.
Right.
Y'all.
It's very important for speed dating that you show up on time, because I run on time and you will miss your dates. And there will be somebody sitting there sad because I don't have enough people of the opposite gender to keep the room balanced, right? So no, you cannot be late. And then of course I've had people ask for a full list of attendees with their demographics, their jobs, and their ages. Absolutely not. I'm not sharing people's information.
That's a great point, because I can imagine some people like want to know, okay, are all the men here, are all the women here, are they college educated?
Right.
Are they, are they above 6 foot, 6 feet? Or
Right.
Are they all employed?
Yeah.
Do any of them have any baby mamas or baby dad? I can understand, from that standpoint, for people who are averse to risk, who want to know ahead of time, they may ask you. I can understand someone saying, look, I got to know.
Yep.
Before I put on all these clothes and look cute and
drive over there.
Drive over there, gas ain't cheap. I want to know what I'm getting into.
Exactly.
Am I sitting across the table from a 6-figure high value person? Am I sitting across from someone who ain't had a job and, even before the pandemic?
Like, how did they buy the ticket to come?
Right. Like I want to know.
Exactly. So for participants to come to Black ATL Speed Dating, they do have a short interest form to fill out about their name, their age, their occupation, what they're looking to get out of the event, and a short description of themselves. So that is what I was referencing earlier by vetting participants, right? And so my aim that's important to me is that all my participants are employed, and I mean that, right? Like, you do not have to be the Attorney General of Georgia, but I would like for you to have some sort of regular income, right? Because I just think that's important to dating. That's another Twitter dating topic. Should people be dating if they're unemployed? Like, do people that's unemployed deserve love? I wouldn't go that far. No, I wouldn't go, obviously, yes to that.
No, you're not working. You don't deserve to be there.
Go home. No, but anyways, I do ask that people provide employment, right? And so, there have been some instances where I've gotten some responses that I did not think were okay. And so those people aren't invited.
Like, in terms of employment, you mean like legal or questionable?
Right.
Like, if I sell product, quote unquote, I get money though.
Right. Yes, I just had someone one time put manager I'm gonna email you. I have follow-up questions, right? Like that sounds like it might be fine, but let's dig a little bit deeper. But most of the people that are coming are professionals. They are attorneys. I have doctors, attorneys come. I have teachers come. I have some different analysts, consultants, bankers, people in all different spectrums that are coming, and that's the kind of environment that I wanted to curate.
You just never know what you're gonna get.
Exactly. Like it's not like I'm asking people for the W-2s, right?
So, you know, talking about transplants, and you mentioned you've been here for 2 years. You know, welcome to Atlanta.
Thank you.
For the people who are, you know, in the same predicament as you or similar, you know, Atlanta is different when it comes to dating. Some people have very positive experiences, some people have very negative, some people have a hodgepodge of both. So for something like a Black speed dating event, for people who are new to Atlanta, what is something that you feel like, you know, as far as a major benefit? Because again, they can always do an app. Some people may have the money to go to a matchmaker.
Sure.
Whatever the case may be. But if you are new to the city, this is post-pandemic, come to Black Speed Dating Atlanta because you will get what?
Right. So one of my main benefits, of course, is that this is an event that has an equal number of people from both genders. And so that is really important to a lot of women in particular. You know, they want to know that the men are going to be there, right? And the men want to know that the women are going to be there and that the women are
fine.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. When I did it, I'm like, how do these women look?
Exactly. Men are visual creatures, right? That's a very common sentiment. And so for me to a transplant, I'm telling you, like, you are going to have one-on-one conversations in person, in real time with somebody. Conversations that are going to be curated with a little topic provided by me. You're going to have a nice little cocktail. And then you will also have the opportunity to mix and mingle with people of the same gender, right? So like I mentioned, the women are sitting in the same seats the whole night. So between conversations or during the break, you could find a platonic friend there, right? So not only does speed dating present the opportunity to date romantically, but you might strike up a platonic connection. Say you're hanging out in the lounge or the restaurant, you get there a little early, you and someone else are hitting it up, y'all both moved in, maybe y'all live 2 blocks apart. Well, that's a cool connection.
If you're there, we obviously got something in common. We're single.
Right. And so that's another value add. And then it's just something new to do. Like, I think that personally with, I think I might have mentioned, I'm not personally dating at this time, right? And so I think that if I were dating, I would be interested in the kind of person who tries new things. And so for you to be in a new city and trying new things, that's a good place to be in, right? Like, you have something great to talk about on your dates. You can bring that confidence to future events. One of my do's that I didn't write down, but I should have, is do come to more than one event, right? We do our best to mix up the guest list. And so, again, my second event will be Friday, November 4th at 7:30 in Midtown. And so far, we only have one person who's repeating from the first event. You know, some of them people is already booed up, so I can't do nothing about that.
Hey, that's a good thing. Right,
but if 1 or 2 people, maybe even 3 to 4 people want to repeat, that's less than 20% of the entire participants. And so come to multiple events, see what happens, check the vibe out, support your girl Kayla.
All right, Miss Kayla, that's what I'm talking about. It's all about support. I'm telling everybody. So people watching right now, the subscribers, if they want to participate and sign up right now, how can they find you? How can they find the event? And how can they sign up?
Definitely. So the easiest way to sign up is to go to our Instagram page. We have a sign up link. Our Instagram is Black ATL Speed Dating. And so you can find us there. Our link is right in our bio. You click that and we will make sure you get a ticket link. I also have a number that you can text. So if you text FORM, FORM, to 404-981-3399. Then we'll get back to you and make sure that you are able to attend this Friday, because we would love to have you.
Okay. All right. And website or anything else?
Website, TBD. Black ATL Speed Dating is a pet project that is not currently a revenue stream for your girls. So when when it right, when it starts to make some money, then I can reinvest. But yeah, Instagram is the best way to reach us, or you can text that number, and we are happy to stay in touch with you. You can also email blackatlspeeddating@gmail.com if you don't have social media and you don't text.
Yeah, again, it's mission folks out there, but again, we're going to make it easy for everybody. We're going to have this information in the description. Make sure you just look down, check it out. Again, make sure you like this video, drop some comments down below, and most importantly, and I can't stress this enough, most importantly, make sure you subscribe. Go ahead, and if you're on Facebook, go on up to the top, hit that search bar, type in Ringside LLC, and request to join the private Facebook group, and either myself or one of the admins will admit you. Miss Kayla, Black ATL Speed Dating, y'all know what it is. We about to get popping.
Y'all see it.
There you go.
Y'all
There you
see
go.
it.
That's called branding, everybody. And we're all for it. I can't wait to hear more updates because, again, this is something that's needed. It's something that a lot of people are interested in, and a lot of people, particularly people of the African diaspora, can benefit here in hot Atlanta. Miss
Definitely.
Kayla, Black ATL Speed Dating. We are